Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another game update overview for The Sims 4, this time for July 2022. Absolutely the biggest update of the year so far. This update is actually the one that's come out just before the high school year's expansion pack. We got some really interesting things that have been asked for quite a while, and even a couple of nice smaller things that the patch notes didn't even point out. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So I knew the first thing I had to check out was body hair, because this is something that has been at the top of my list in terms of cosmetic Create a Sim stuff. And unfortunately I'm let down here because there's very few options. There's a few more that we'll get with high school years, but even after rewatching that stream I noticed the body hair options we have don't actually cover much of the body. It's a little strange. I mean, I don't mind having some options where there isn't as much hair, but I was hoping there'd be some thicker body hair too. Halfway through checking the body hair out, I realized that the body hair actually shows up a bit better on the second black hair color versus the first one, which was a new hair color we got last year. So I think what I'll do for my dark-haired Sims is uncheck match hair for body hair and just use the second black hair color. The body hair is available on both masculine and feminine frames, so you can see me trying it on Vanessa, though since she does have green hair, it is just matching the body hair to that, but you get the idea. So I hope they do add more thicker body hair down the line that does cover more, because compare what we have in this update to the Lumia Lover Sims body hair custom content that I've been using for years. Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep Lumia's for a while longer. Hopefully that does get updated so that it's under the body hair categories instead of tattoos. I find it so strange that they didn't just collaborate with Lumia, because he works for them now. He works on the trailers, not the actual game development, but still, I don't think it should have been that hard to do. It's not all bad though. I would say the body hair is actually the most disappointing part of the update for me. So in Create a Sim, we also have the ability to decide a Sim's sexual orientation. Just like with the other gender customization options, you can entirely skip them and Sims will just act the same way as they've done before this update. But if you do want to change it, there is this new tab for sexual orientation. So now, instead of always having to influence it through gameplay, we can decide from the beginning whether a Sim is romantically attracted to men or women or both or neither, whether a Sim is exploring romantically or not, and if this Sim is interested in woohoo with men or women or both or neither. In addition to this, it's also possible for young adult Sims and older to ask their close friends to be woohoo partners, so woohoo is no longer gated behind romance. Turns out there is a little bit more to this feature than I thought, because I did change Tori here so that she's only interested in women and she's not romantically exploring, so no chance of her being attracted to men. And I had Jaden flirt with her, and she just rejected him instantly. And through that, Jaden did learn her orientation, and she says, "I'm flattered, but I'm not interested in that type of relationship with you. But I would be happy if you would like to be friends." And from there, nearly every single romantic-related interaction was blocked off. However, I did notice Ask About Woohoo interest was still there, so I decided to give that a try and see what would happen. And this also went over badly, with Tori saying, "We're definitely not close enough for me to share my preferences with you." So that is good that you can't just simply walk up to a random Sim on the street and be like, "Hey, who do you like to woohoo with?" and expect the Sim to actually be okay with giving you an answer. Hopefully in the future they manage to implement non-binary options for sexual orientation, and I think maybe they should have waited until they managed to do that before releasing this feature, but at least for a start there are some pretty nice options here. The next thing I want to talk about is the sit on ground interaction, which for some reason is not in the patch notes, but you can click on your Sim and simply just have them sit on the ground. This was shown in promos for high school years, but no, you don't need that expansion pack for that. You just need the new update. And thankfully, it's not just for teens, because Jaden here is actually an adult, young adult, that is. And I tried it with a child as well, and children can do it too. And it is compatible with multitasking, so I did have Jikai here text one of his friends while sitting down, so that is pretty nice too. And I love the little cross-legged icon that displays in the UI while your sim is doing it. It's a nice little addition, and I did see Luddy Simmer post a picture where his sims were sitting down and talking to each other, so essentially you could kind of recreate the hangout interaction from The Sims 2. And I think it's just generally nice for picture taking. The appearance of the phone's user interface got an overhaul, and I think this is a huge improvement over what we've had for the past nearly 8 years. So now you have these nicely arranged icons that show the different categories, and then you can just click on each one to see all the interactions underneath it. We still have the same options to silence the phone and also change the phone's background color, though they've added a few more now, which is nice. But now there is also the option to change the phone's case design separately from the phone's color. I love how easy it is to just sift between the different categories with the little arrow, and if you do need to go back to the home screen, then there is that back button at the bottom. So this is definitely something that was long overdue, and I'm really glad they did it. Yep, just in time for a teenager-themed expansion pack. I guess it makes sense that they did it now. Also worth noting with the phones is that Sims do sometimes walk while they have their phones out. It's not just teenagers, because my young adult Sim did that as well. It's nice for a touch of realism, though I'm not sure if it may happen too often or not. New selfie poses were also added in a variety of different categories, so while we were able to take selfies before, you just have to kind of run the interaction over and over again and hope you get a pose that you like. Nope, don't have to do that anymore, even if your sim is just using their phone. I think there is a nice variety of poses on offer here, and selfies were hardly ever something that I did just because it was so cumbersome to do. But now that there are more poses, I think I actually will use selfies to decorate my Sims walls more and personalize their homes. One other major overhaul in this update is that whims are officially a thing of the past. They've been completely replaced by wants and fears. Though while they are named the same as they were in The Sims 2, they work quite differently. Going over wants first, we can have 3 at the same time, where 2 of them can be either short-term or long-term, like listening to S-pop music. And I do like how there is little descriptive text below, where it said, "The jams are on now," and "Embrace Tori from Being Romantic Partners, arms out and squeeze!" I love that one. The third want slot is reserved for reactionary wants, which are based on where your sim is at the moment. So if they're at a bar, they might want to dance to stereo music or get a drink. Though I will say, it was a little difficult for those to appear for me at first, because I tried with a different household, and I took them to the gym, and they didn't get anything. So then when I tried with these 2 sims and went to the bar, then that actually worked. So I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe they're just not guaranteed, where they don't pop up as often, or I was just simply unlucky. Sadly, apart from that, they don't seem to be any different from whims, because when I did complete the arms out and squeeze, I only got satisfaction points for the reward store. I didn't notice anything else different. Fears are where it gets more interesting, so they act like traits that you can either just let linger forever, or you can try to overcome them. These fears are obtained through situations in gameplay. For example, if your Sims witness a fire, there is a chance that they will get a fear of fire. But realistically, it's not every single time, because with this household of 3 Sims, only Jaden got a fear of fire. When it happened, I got a notification saying fires can be a vital source of heat or a calming warmth on a cold night. Jaden saw firsthand the more destructive side of fire. Jaden never wants to see that again. To check to see if your Sims have any fears, you can go to the traits panel and it just displays under there. So if you have a fear of fire, you actually have a bigger chance of starting fires accidentally. Also, in general, when your Sims get a new fear, they have a scared buff for a few hours called Looming Dread. I started another fire after Jaden got his fear just to see how different it would be, and well, it didn't really seem all that different because Sims are already pretty scared of fire anyways. I guess he stood farther away from the fire once he reacted to the fire later than the other two Sims did. But other than that, yeah, didn't really see much of a difference at all. And then actually I had him conquer the fear by putting out the fire himself, and then that fear went away. For conquering the fear, you do get some satisfaction points and a confident buff where the fear is conquered, and that lasts for 12 hours. I figured I'd try out one more fear before I moved on to the next section of this video. And you actually can add fears whenever you want if you have a mod that enables the debug cheats. So then you shift click on a sim, go into cheat sim info and add trait, and they all start with fear of, so they are pretty easy to find going by alphabetical order. I was really disappointed to see that there's only 12 of them with the base game, and I do have all the packs except for High School Years installed at the time of making this video, so they did not go back and add fears that relate to previous pack content. I know there are some more fears with High School Years, but they should really add some more to previous packs. I think that is very important for fully integrating this system across the entire game, not just what's come out very recently. The other fear that I tried is fear of swimming. I don't know how exactly you get it, maybe you just have to come close to drowning, but I did cheat it onto Tori, and immediately after she was done the swimming interaction, she would go and get right out of the pool. So it does seem to work better than fear of fire. And there is a unique buff there going no more water from fear of swimming. I ended up learning that in order to overcome this fear, Tori did get a wand where you have to get into the confident emotion and then swim around for an hour. I had Tori attempt to do that, and it worked. She did successfully overcome her fear of water, so I think this one was pretty cool. So overall, I would not say they really compete with The Sims 2's level of drama, but wants and fears are a nice way of having a bit more direction in your gameplay and to have a bit more consequences with the fears. But they should add more wants and fears to the game overall, especially considering pack content. If you don't want to deal with wants and fears though, you can go into the game options and turn them off. Last but not least, we have curved walls, something that I never thought would happen in The Sims 4, though there is a catch to it. You can't just freely draw curved walls. You have to actually use rounded pre-made rooms and just kind of move them around as you see fit so they just blend in with your structure that you're building. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination an expert builder, so don't expect me to go in depth on all the strengths and weaknesses of them or what glitches are present, but I will say it is still kind of cool that we have even this level of curved walls because we've never been able to build curved walls before. I still remember in The Sims 3 when we got town life stuff and there's some rabbit holes that have some really cool curved walls and I was like, oh, man, I wish I could build those. So yeah, that is kind of interesting that we even got this. It is too bad that the surprise was ruined by a leak. But another aspect with curved walls is that when you go into doors and windows, there is a new thing that shows you that there's certain windows that are made to be compatible with just straight walls, some that are compatible with a certain degree of rounded walls, like the larger round walls, and then the ones that are just straight up compatible with any curved wall. However, you can get around that restriction by using the Move Objects cheat, but the windows or doors may not look all that good when you place them. Wall decorations do work with curved walls too. I did try a couple of decorations and the thermostat from Seasons, and they all worked fine. Oh, and I almost forgot, there's a new floor that's available for everyone too. The antique wood strip flooring comes in a nice, decent variety of swatches, and yeah, no complaints here. I think it looks pretty nice. So that is pretty much it. I will link to the patch notes in the video description below because there are also some bug fixes, including the Murphy bed with the animation, the remote finally shows up, and the mannequin crashing bug is fixed too, which is great. So clothing stores will no longer be broken after having been broken for so long. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think of this free update? So I have now just today gotten early access to High School Years, so I will be making some content for that. The embargo lifts tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I'm not sure how soon I'll have my stuff up since, yeah, not a lot of time, but I will be starting my Let's Play soon. I already posted about my main characters on Twitter, and I'll be doing an ambient ASMR video of Copperdale, because I really want to see how that will turn out. But with that, be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!